Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the top three mistakes parents make when they are trying to be better parents.
The official podcast of BNI Success Link. Your link to success.
Hello again, everyone. I'm your host, Rav Mandirata, and welcome to the BNI Success Link official podcast. My company is Socio Squares, and landing leads is where my business leads. Today, we are going to talk about the top three mistakes parents make when they are trying to be actually better parents. And I have an expert in this field with me today, Jenny Michelson, who's a parent coach. Jenny, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's nice to be here.
So, parent coaching, like I told you, I never heard that parent coaching was a thing. So, how did you get into parent coaching and what is this all about?
Sure. Thanks for asking. That's one of my biggest missions is to actually let people know that parent coaches exist. So I was a teacher, educator for a decade plus, and in the process of my journey, I became a dean of students. And in that role, I did a lot of support of my students, both their social emotional support and their academic support by working with their parents. And so we would work together as a team to make sure the kids get what they needed in order to be able to figure out how they could improve both socially, emotionally, and academically. And in the process, I really discovered that I loved supporting the parents to support their kids, and that's how I got into parent coaching. So
that's very interesting. So, from teacher to a parent, and then now a parent coach. That's pretty awesome. And I'm sure your kids are all grown up now, so you've seen the whole cycle of how their moods and behaviors change.
Well, not exactly all grown up, but getting there. They're teenagers.
Awesome. So parenting can vary quite a bit, right? With different cultures. I'm an Indian. We come from a very different cultural background. I'm sure you would have a very different upbringing. So how do you manage different cultures? What are the common elements when it comes to parenting which apply across?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. One of the things that I always talk to my parents about, people that I'm coaching, is to really help them ground in their values. And that's the place that we start. So if you're connected to your values and that what you wish for your children, then you're already have a foundational piece that helps you make most of your parenting decisions. And what I have found is that while there can be varying degrees within those values, of course, based on people's backgrounds, their own upbringing, where they live, there's some pretty fundamental pieces that everybody wants for their kids. And that's for them to be healthy, to have a stable family life, to be loved, to be kind human beings, to be part of a community, to be respected, maybe to find love, maybe have passion, have a fulfilling life, and really learn how to build resilience and grit. And I think across all cultures, these are the fundamental principles of what all parents want for their kids.
That's true. And now that I hear what you just shared, it makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about the title of this, this
Sure.
podcast, right? What have you seen as the top three mistakes which parents make?
Well, I mean, I think parenting is riddled with mistakes. So I like to think of them as missteps rather than mistakes because, there's always a way to get yourself back on the path if you take a misstep. And I think it's a natural part of parenting. And what I try to do as a coach is to also just make sure we build a lot of self-compassion around the job that we've been tasked to do, which is really, really difficult. But to get to your point, the three top missteps that I see as a parent coach are really, the first one is really not collecting enough data. So we might try to make a decision for our kids and we just don't have enough information. So to give you an example, if you have a child who you feel is on the screen too much, which is pretty much all of us, and I'm speaking from being the mother of teenagers right now, instead of just coming in, sweeping in, and trying to make a whole bunch of changes, find out what's happening. What are they doing online? Ask them open-ended questions. What do you enjoy about it? What's your favorite thing to do? How does it make you feel? Because before we can go make a bunch of changes, we need some information. We think we know, right, what's going on, but we don't always know. And so I think that's the first piece, is ask some questions, get some more information. That's the first misstep, is trying to make decisions without enough collection of data and evidence. The second one would be having pretty unrealistic expectations, and I'm just going to stick with the screen time, in thinking that our kids they can just turn it off with no problem. Like, they'll be fine if they don't have the screen. And while we know that's true, we also know that these things are designed to make you want more. And so we might have this expectation that if we just put a limit on it, they should just be able to turn it off without throwing a tantrum or getting upset or going over the time limit that we've set for them. And the truth of the matter is, it's hard. And so sometimes when you have an unrealistic expectation, that can lead to a misstep. And the final one is just being inconsistent. So if we create structures and boundaries about something like, let's say, screen time again, and we say, you can only do it for an hour between the hours of 8 and 9, and then we don't follow through with that, and then all of a sudden, kids like, well, I know she's not really going to tell me to get off, so I'm just going to stay on for another, 10 or 15 minutes, and then that's on us as parents for not holding our kids accountable and not holding ourselves accountable. And that's one of the beauties of working with a parent coach, is that I can help with all three of those missteps, helping you figure out what questions to ask to collect more data, to help really set expectations that are realistic, and to help you have some accountability every week when we meet. You got to tell me what you followed through on. So
that's awesome. And yeah, consistency is a challenge. So being a parent, you get emotional sometimes and you let it slide, and that ends into a totally different spiral altogether. So I can relate to that.
Yeah, it sure does.
The next question which comes to mind is that when do parents or how do parents know that they need external help, right? When there are times when they might, like, I'm a parent, if I refer to a book or my friends who have kids similar age, is that a good resource? Is that one way to go about it? Or I should be looking for a parent coach or coming to you?
That's a great question, Rob. I think that books and resources you can find on the internet for parenting are amazing. There's some great stuff out there that can be so helpful when you're just feeling like you're in a crisis and you've tried everything and nothing's working. And it's fantastic to be able to just kind of at your fingertips be able to find some things that other people have done, whether they're other parents or researchers. People that are studying brain development might have some great tips. And I'm so happy that it's all out there. But what those lack are really an understanding of your unique situation, your family ecology, your style, your children's style, and really nobody knows you or your family or your child better than you do. And that's where sometimes these books can fall short, because it doesn't account for your strengths, it doesn't account for your child's strengths. And what you want to do is to really figure out, even within the most challenging situation, what is working and how you can harness your own strengths as a parent, the strengths of your co-parent, the strengths of your child, to try to overcome a challenge rather than reinventing the wheel from something you read in a book. And that's where parent coaching can come in, because we can just really start to help you shift. You can look at a situation from a more positive lens and use your strengths and use what's working to build out a plan to create more ease and peace and be able to overcome the challenge. When should you call a parent coach? When I think you're up late at night worrying, when you feel as though you don't have any other tools or ideas in your toolbox and you're just out of steam, if you're feeling totally unenergized, negative about being a parent. And I don't mean, I mean you're feeling it for a while, because we all have moments where we wish we could hang up and just head out the door. But that's where I see it, when you really feel stuck. You're not sure how to get out.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for answering that. I have one final question for you, and
Great.
that's related to my field, digital marketing. What digital marketing strategies have you tried? What works for you?
Yeah, so I have a blog that I write every month. I try to have them be topics that feel important and timely, such as a lot of stuff that when we were going through the pandemic, things that would be helpful. I try to always have them be have some tips and strategies in there that can be used right away, but really from a coaching lens that helping you discover strengths and figure out what's working. And I've used MailChimp. I use that to send out my blogs, and then I'll use social media to alert people that they're out there. And sometimes I'm able to take questions based on the blog and respond to people through social media. And that's one of the ways that I use digital marketing.
That's awesome. So it's great to hear that blogging and MailChimp and email marketing and social media are working for your business. I was surprised to learn that thousands of people are searching for a parent coach online. So my 2 cents would be that trying SEO and online advertising could get you interested parents as well. And this was a complete eye opener as well, that people are searching for parent coach. And I didn't even know that parent coach existed before I got to know you.
Well, first of all, you're not dumb. And thank you so much. That's a great tip. I definitely need to look into that.
Great. Thank you, Jenny. This was awesome. And I'm sure a lot of parents can find a lot of value in this webinar. Thank you for doing this.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
The official podcast of BNI Success Link. Your link to success.